Hello, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of Hello, everyone. Today we are on. Hello, everyone. My name is Rona, and welcome to Decor and Design DIY. We will be working on the floor plan part 5 today. Hello, everyone. My name is Rona. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another great episode of Decor and Design DIY. Today we are going to be working on how to create a floor plan part 5, which will be discussing all of the elements that I use in order to create the hall bathroom of this floor plan that we've been working on. Ultimately, the goal is to get from the view that you see here to your right to a view that shows a completed design. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to make an adjustment to my double sink or my double vanity. And I'm going to attach it to the wall here. In order to find the furnishings and material finishes for your design, you start out by going over to this panel over here. And where you see this little shovel, select building. From here, you're able to see all of the different elements and subcategories of the material finishes and other items that you would need in order to complete your room. In order to add furniture, fixtures, and other elements, you go to the couch here and select, and you'll get a panel of different options for the room that you're designing. Today we're going to be spending a lot of time in the bathroom categories here, so I'm going to go ahead and select more so that you can see a sample of the different finishes that are available, and furniture as well. If you are trying to narrow your focus and say, for example, you only want to see vanities, then select vanities, and that will then take out all of the other options and finishes there for you to select from. I'm just using the wheel on my mouse to scroll down, and there's the vanity that I selected. It's 72 inches espresso color with the dimensions here. And so if you are utilizing this software, by the way, the software is called Home Styler. If you haven't had an opportunity yet, feel free to sign up for it. It's absolutely free, and it's one of the easier tools that I can utilize with my clients so that we can work on things back and forth together. Now, it won't have everything that you need in order to create the design that you may have in mind. However, as far as placement goes, creating the floor plans, the layouts, some of the basic parts and pieces that you need to your floor plan, this tool works just fine. It also helps me to narrow down my clients' wish lists and to identify things that, for example, that they're not interested in. But more importantly, if they're doing this design work themselves with a little guidance from me, it helps them to understand dimensions and some of the limitations that come with creating your own floor plan. For those of you who have been formally educated in interior design or architecture, most of us know that you put together your rooms with a series of layers. These layers include the floor, the walls, the ceiling, paint, art, fixtures, furnishings, appliances. These are the different layers that go into most design plans. So this is a combination of floor and design plan. I started using this tool just as a way to place things and give my clients a perspective of what will be taking place in their space. So with that in mind, just understand that some of the layers that I put into the space will be out of order, which is why you see the sink here first. But nevertheless, we have the sink in place, Now I want to change the flooring for this space. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click in the resize button here in the upper right hand corner so that I can take a look at the floor. In the previous videos that I've done on 1 through 4, which is how to create a floor plan, this is the flooring that we have throughout the entire home. But for the bathrooms, I elected to do something a little bit different. So we're going to go ahead and change the flooring here. I'm going to go back out to my floor plan and I'm going to select the floor, but you can also click on the resize button and you can see this highlighted yellow here. So there's a couple ways that you could do it. You can add the selected material to the 3D version, but you have to see the lines here, or you can add it to the floor plan version. So I'm going to add it here so that you understand exactly what it is that I'm showing you. So over here on the left panel, I'm going to show you the style icon. So over here on the left panel, this is the style categories that we're going to be using. And you can go to the tile options or you can go to the marble options. Let's just take a look at what's happening in the tile options. There's some basic patterns to choose from. You have your traditional looks, your stacked stone. You have interesting mosaics and your traditional patterns. But I'm going to add this tile here to the floor that we already have selected, so you'll see how that looks. I chose this pattern because I'm looking for a classic feel, a modern classic feel with some classic touches, and this flooring is an excellent complement to the espresso on this vanity here. Now I'm going to adjust this a little bit so that I can see the backspace here. I'm going to start looking for the other pieces to this bathroom, which will include a soaking tub and a commode or a toilet. Just depends on the terms that you like to use. And what we're going to do is get back to the catalog itself in order to see what our options are in the bathroom category. Now, since we use this to look at the vanities, while we're still here, we're going to go ahead and look at the tubs, and then we're going to look at toilets. But let's look at the tubs first. There are quite a few options here. That I wanted for you to see. The one that I settled on here is the dark metal tub with a built-in seat. And one of the reasons why I like to add my elements to my floor plan is so that I can see top down. I can get a bird's eye view of how to exactly place it. And because we are in the imaginary floor plan land, these little sizing dots in some cases allow you to make adjustments. But imagine ordering this particular tub and it comes in a certain size. You just have to make sure that it fits the measurements within that space. Some of the elements in the design plan can be modified and they can be ordered to the size that you need. Other elements cannot be. They come in the size that they come, so you don't have that flexibility. In many cases, however, the sizes that are available are the only sizes that they have. And so you don't have the same custom options with certain appliances, furniture, fixtures, or other materials. And in some cases, when you are dropping these elements into your design, it won't give you that option to resize them. But say if you love this tub, say if you love this, and you go to the summary, which I've shown you in the first 3 videos, when you click on that button, it shows you the actual product. And from there, it's linked to the actual resource where you can get that product. And then from there, if you have the measurements of your space, you can ask them if they have the size that will accommodate your particular space. So while I have this highlighted, I'm going to go ahead and just adjust it a little bit so that it moves to the location that I want. Let me click off of this for a minute and then just go right into, I'm going to bring this down so you can see the little nitpicky things that I do when I'm doing a design. I'm going to reselect it. And as you can see, there's space over here, but there's no space over here. So my eye is wanting me to center that as close as possible. So I try to center it to the left, it touches the wall over here. I try to center it to the right, it has some overlap. So it's just not going to be perfect, but it will work for what it is that we're trying to do here. The important thing that I want you to remember is that you just have to have your close to perfect measurements. You want to measure once. Well, you want to measure twice, but you only want to make that purchase or you want to make that cut right the first time. All right, so I'm going to zoom back out. Okay. So we have our tub placed, we have our vanity in place. The next thing that we're going to look for, going back to the catalog here, staying in the same category of items, we're going to look for the toilet for that space. And again, it is entirely up to you. A lot of these items you're able to find in the marketplace. So my goal is to find something that does not have this apparatus on the back. I want it to not look like this, but I just want it to have a more sophisticated look to it. You're buying things when you're putting your design plan together, you're looking at functionality, you're looking at the people in the house that have to use it. There's a number of things. The size, the budget, a lot of things come into play. I'm going to go with this option. Although it does not exactly match, it really doesn't have to when you're doing a virtual design. That's the beauty of doing virtual designs. Imagine working on your kitchen and bathrooms in your home and you just want to do a refresh or upgrade. And you're utilizing this tool in order to give the general contractor, the kitchen and bath expert, this look. You take this and snip it and print it out, and then you take it to your kitchen and bath expert or your general contractor. This gives them a good look, a good idea of what your style is and what your desires are, as well as your budget. The next thing that I'm going to do is add some color to the walls so that we can get a good look at the perspective and how things actually are placed in the space. So to do that, we're going to go to the style option here. And since we were looking at tiles earlier, we want to go out to the main categories here and then scroll down to color and select more. Now, for me, in order to do the work that I do on the video so that you can get an overview of the exercise so that you can follow along, a lot of times the items and color choices that I've selected will already be up here at the top of the window. But that won't be the case for a design that you're working on. You will have to go through and select by clicking on these different little options here the color palette that you're looking for, and there's a lot to choose from. I did a quick video on using art to select paint, and it gives you a good overview of when you're utilizing art pieces in order to, or something that inspires you. And in this case, it wasn't art per se that inspired the color choices that I made. It was actually the mosaic here in this marble tile that inspired the color choices. All right, so we're going to start adding color to the walls here. So I just want to be able to demo that for you in this video. Again, as far as I'm concerned, it could be something happening with my computer, which I highly doubt because it allows me to add texture and paint. When I select these walls, I'm able to add color and texture. But something kooky is going on. Oh, there it is. I see it behind the scenes. And this is the color that I chose. Now, because I have this floor plan already completely designed, and you'll see the end product here shortly, what I did was I went through and I looked at colors that I thought would be a good fit for this particular space. So in order to come up with the color palette that I have here, what I did was I focused on the actual floor itself. And so I'm going to play with the colors, but you'll see what the final product looks like here at the end of this video. But I like this gray, and I'm not quite sure if I want it to be on this wall here or if I want it to be on this wall over here. So be sure to hang out for the entire video so that you can see what the completed finished product looks like. So in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and start looking at adding mirrors, lighting, and maybe a couple of towel bars and some artwork. So I'm just experimenting with a couple of options before I settle on the final product. One way that I've shown you how to do your copy and paste is to do your Control V and your Control C. But there are also features at the bottom here in this little tool deck down here that allows you to make duplicates as well. And from there you'll be able to make adjustments. But I'm going to go back to the floor plan so that I can zoom in and see where those objects are so that they can fit on the wall the way that they're supposed to. I'm going to select it here in this image and then see if I'm able to identify that here in the floor plan. You can probably hear my kitten in my lap. I like these, but I'm not able to resize them from this position. We should still be in the same category. And so, although I really wanted to see how that looked, I'm going to go ahead and go with this version right here by Collier. And it should allow me to move it around. And so I'm going to place one here. And while it's highlighted, I'm going to go ahead and make a duplicate, a second one. And I'm going to place it here. And we're going to minimize this and move it over here for a minute. Minimize it and move it over here so that I can extend the 3D view, and select on the resize button. But first, I want to make sure that I'm in the right angle, because this little guy here, if he is not positioned to move these, if he isn't positioned to move these objects, it'll be difficult to manipulate them and put them in the correct position. We should be able to move them with the arrow, and we should be able to move them by click, holding, and dragging. So we want to put those in place. I'm also using the arrow keys to move this around as well. Sometimes you're not able to use the arrow keys, sometimes you are, but this is a good look right here. Okay, so let's take the viewer and look back into the space. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a few pieces of art, and then we'll move ahead to the finished product. In order to get back to the main categories, select catalog, and things move around in here because it is a web version software. Okay, so now we're selecting our art and decor button here. While this tool is continuously being approved upon, you will see updates and you'll see a new banner on that item, whatever that is. So the good thing about this tool is that they are making daily changes. So you may go into the software one day and it may not have a feature or a furniture or piece of appliance that you want to put into your floor plan. So the thing that I would say about that is just to be patient. They are making improvements with the tool. And again, for what we're trying to do for placement and just getting visual input so that we can zero in on what we want, the general ideas of what we want for our floor plan, this tool works just fine. So I'm going to select the art and posters link and pull in a couple of pieces of art. Since I already know what I selected, I'm going to go ahead and type in the name for one of the pieces that I selected, but feel free to scroll through. I chose this piece here, and I'm looking for it. Okay, so I'm going to put it on the wall here, right where the commode is. So I'm just going to place it there, but then I'm going to toggle back, select, deselect, and then I'm going to go inside of the 3D view, and then I'm going to position the 3D viewer here in front of that piece at an angle that allows me to adjust it from the wall. So that way I can pull it down and adjust it. So I'm going to select, and use these little blue lines here in order to move this picture. Or find the arrow and move it to the position that you want it. Remember, we did a video on tooltips on how to place the art on the wall, so I want it to be at the eye level and almost equidistant between the vanity here and the mirrors and the wall over here. And then we're going to do the same on the opposite side. We're going to put art on this wall here, in this space right here. And again, feel free to scroll through and look at your options. I'm going to go ahead and select the piece called Good Companion that I selected. And I chose a longer piece because I want it to take up that back wall. Now I have the piece somewhere in here. What happened to it? If it gets confusing, just go back in and repeat. There it is. Okay. So again, it's going to end up on the wall and it might not be in the correct position. Select, make sure nothing's selected, and then go back into your 3D viewer, which allows you to select it from that angle. And then from there, you can manipulate the pieces and then hold the mouse until I can grab this down arrow and then move the art down. Takes a little bit of finesse to operate the features in this tool, but it's well worth it once you get the hang of it. All right, let's click out and let's just look at how it is looking in this space now when we move the 3D viewer. I don't want this wall selected, so I'm going to deselect. Move the 3D viewer out to the door, and because he's in the door is the part that you see here. And there's the art that we lost a few minutes ago. I'm going to go and click on that and delete it. He's really razor thin, but that's some of the headaches of working with this kind of tool. You're going to be scrolling in and out. You're going to be toggling back and forth between your floor plan as well as your 3D, and you're going to have to position your viewer in the space so that you can actually bring in the parts and pieces that you want. And remember, if he gets lost, just move him into the room and you should be okay. So it's coming together. The art really makes the space in most of the designs that I do, so I really like to bring that in. And a lot of times when you're looking for parts and pieces and you're not able to find them in the category that you're looking for, you can always go to another section. In fact, for the shelving that I'm selecting, I'm going to scroll down to the office category and select on shelves and bookcases, because that particular category had all different types of options for shelving. In fact, this is the piece that I chose for this design. But when you scroll through, there's just so many different options that are available in your shelving. And shelving and storage is important in any design, so keep that in mind when you're using this tool. Some of these items will be in other areas, but the majority of them are in this particular location. So I'm going to select it, and I'm going to stay in the 3D view and just place it right in here, and then select off. Now I wish that I was able to, add like a shampoo bottle or some other type of, bath soap or salts or something to this ledge. But some of those items haven't caught up with the miscellaneous or the accessories link in this software as of yet. You can interact with the creators of this tool and make requests for certain things. So you'll see that evolving over time. But this is starting to look really good. Now, also, what I want to do is I want to add a ceiling light and I want to add lighting to the vanity section because lighting is important in any aspect, and that is considered to be one of the layers that I take into consideration when I'm pulling together a design plan. I'm going to go to the catalog, select catalog, and then I'm going to locate the lighting category here and select the ceiling lighting. Again, for the sake of time, I've already made my selection. And what I chose for the lighting above the tub, it is one of the newer items that has been recently added to the collection of lights. But now, even if you go through the lights and you're not happy with the lights, you could still go to, a website such as Lumens. And even if you don't see the light that you want in this software, you can snip it or save it to your design layout and put this in the place that you want it. But the actual light that you see on another website, you just save that and put that in your design book as you're putting together all of your design pieces. And that way you can give your general contractor several options to choose from. Now I'm going to try to place it in the 3D, but if it doesn't work, you can always go back to your floor plan. Click off, and I'm going to check the placement of that by going to the actual floor plan because, see, it's not in the right position, and I want that centered perfectly over the tub. Now, for the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and fast forward to the finished product so that you can see how this design plan turned out. Be sure to save often as you're working inside of this tool because sometimes crazy things happen. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and fast forward to the completed design. If you have comments, please be sure to leave them in the comment section below, especially if you're following along with this floor plan or your actual floor plan. I would love to hear some of the comments and feedback on the design choices that you're making as well. And also share some of the issues and glitches that you are experiencing as well. So here's the finished product. And I have to tell you, there are some limitations that I experienced when I pulled together the finished product. But again, if you're working with a general contractor and you provide them something on this level, trust me, they will be able to pull together that design for you. One of the limitations that I experienced was not being able to put my paint on this wall over here, on this wall. Now, I was able to do it for this particular floor plan, but in the demo that I was doing previously, I wasn't able to. Not sure what the issues are, but this is an exact duplicate. The other thing that I was having problems with is the crown molding. Now, I was able to do the molding at the bottom of the floor plan on the wall here, but I wasn't able to do the crown molding at the top and make that go around the complete floor plan. It's still an excellent, all in all, it's still an excellent tool that you can utilize in order to communicate your design choices or your style to your general contractor. Be sure to subscribe, share, and like the content. And if you haven't had a chance to look at how to create a floor plan 1 through 4, be sure to check those out. The last and remaining project that we're going to do for this floor plan is this last bedroom here. So be sure to join me for that video as well. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go from room to room and just change up some of the finishes so that you can see just how versatile this tool can actually be in creating the floor plans or the floor designs that you want for your space. Thank you for joining me today at Decor and Design DIY, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.